Relief and readiness. That's the theme today. Tertiary level students now have double the time, 10 years instead of 5, to repay their loans. But what does this really mean for your pocket and your plans? And as hurricane season stirs, do you know what it means when a watch becomes a warning? We've got the insights to help you stay calm, clear, and in control right here on Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Are you interested in buying land or property? Here are the steps you should follow. Step 1. Find out who is legally authorized to sell the property. Step 2. Ensure all property tax payments are up to date. Step 3. Consult an attorney at law who will guide you through the process and protect your interests. You can also use eLand Jamaica to check on matters pertaining to your property purchase. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us on WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Thursday, October 9, 2025. Construction on the $231 million Troy Bridge in Trelawney is on track for completion by December 2025, says Minister Robert Morgan. The minister with responsibility for the works portfolio toured the site on Wednesday and expressed satisfaction with the progress of the project.
This bridge is a symbol of the government's commitment to the continued modernization and development of Jamaica. This bridge is from the 1800s, the one that was washed away, and it just gives you an example of the tremendous task we have on our hands in rehabilitating or rebuilding infrastructure, some of which are 150 years old. But the government is committed to doing it. We did the research, we did the design, and we have created an infrastructure that will stand the test of time and can withstand the torrent that comes through these valleys from time to time.
Minister Morgan also gave an update on the Accelerated Bridge Program, which includes building over 50 bridges across the island. He says the government is in the pre-investment stage of the program.
It's a very important program. It's the first time in the history of Jamaica that we will contemplate building 50 bridges plus 7 emergency bridges over a 2-year period. So we expect that by the middle of next year, we should be well on our way to building the first of the bridges.
Jamaica and Barbados have strengthened their partnership to advance regional livestock production. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining Floyd Green and his counterpart, Minister of Agriculture for Barbados, Indar Weir, discussed areas of cooperation during recent bilateral talks. They were attending the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture CWA 2025, held in St. Kitts and Nevis from September 29 to October 4. The discussions placed particular focus on strengthening the region's small ruminant industry, including the expansion of the black belly sheep program being driven by Barbados. For Jamaica, it's expected to build on the Portfolio Ministry's renewed focus on livestock, in particular research and innovation aimed at improving genetic resources, building resilience against disease, and modernizing breeding and pasture systems.
Barbados' efforts to scale regional livestock production align closely with Jamaica's own vision for growth. So we are moving decisively to strengthen our cattle and small ruminant base, improving breeding stock and protect our genetic lines. And I'm happy that together with Minister Weir from Barbados, we're playing a role in advancing our region's collective drive towards greater self-sufficiency and food security.
In addition to livestock collaboration, Minister Green and Barbados' Minister Weir agreed to implement a joint youth exchange program to strengthen cooperation in livestock and crop production. This will be done under the Regional Youth and Agriculture Strategy and is intended to expose young people to modern technologies and climate-smart practices, supporting the region's efforts to build a skilled network of young farmers. It is expected to begin by the fourth quarter of the 2025-2026 financial year and aligns with Jamaica's vision to become a hub for agricultural innovation across CARICOM. Minister of Education Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the upcoming new school curriculum will include subjects that can help to foster creativity and design thinking among students. She made the disclosure at the recent launch of I Am the Code Caribbean at the Spanish Court Hotel in New Kingston.
We have a good curriculum, but there are changes that need to be made to it in terms of incentivizing creativity and incentivizing design thinking. We've committed to doing 3 performing arts high schools in Jamaica. For a country that is so good at culture, for us to have no performing arts high school is a problem. And so we are actually actively looking at the framework for what performing arts high schools would look like so that we can create them.
The minister also highlighted the upcoming AI-enabled Jamaica Learning Assistant app designed to help students struggling in math, English and science.
So it's going to be on your phone or your tablet. Any Jamaican, it doesn't matter where you live, you will have access to the learning assistant. It's your private assistant who will work with you on maths and English and science. It is going to be free for children.
To bring the human side into technology, Dr. Morris-Dixon says the ministry will prioritize soft skills development, including empathy. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is advancing key legislation aimed at enhancing the care and protection of older Jamaicans. Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says the goal is to ensure that seniors are cared for, safe and treated with dignity. Giving an update during this Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives, he revealed that the ministry had hired a consultant to develop a position paper, cabinet submission and drafting instructions for the proposed legislation.
This is going to be a critical one, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. It marks the critical next step toward enacting a comprehensive legislative framework for the care and protection of Jamaica's older persons.
Once approved by Cabinet, these instructions will be submitted to the Office of the Chief Parliamentary Counsel, subject to any required amendments. Other initiatives are also underway, including income tax relief for persons aged 65 and over, the introduction of priority services for seniors at all government offices, and the establishment of legal protections to enshrine the rights, care and safety of older citizens.
In addition to exploring initiatives including making provision for older persons advocate, expanding the caregiver training for those who are helping our seniors, and importantly, simplifying the access to public benefits, in particular the life certificate, which should be at least replaced or an alternative provided through the AmAlive application.
Minister Charles Jr. is calling on all Jamaicans to champion age inclusivity in workplaces, communities and institutions to support healthy, active aging for the nation's seniors. And finally, the Water Resources Authority WRA will be hosting its first water exhibition entitled The Value of Water to Me. The event will be held on October 31 at the Police Officers Club Playfield under the theme Embracing Jamaica's Lifeblood. GIS technician at the WRA, Kimoy Marie Douglas, says the event will engage meaningful dialogue about water-related issues.
Exhibitors will also show the significance of water in ensuring the effective and sustainable operation of their business, as well as expose students to a variety of career options in the water industry and how versatile the field is. In addition to various public and private sector entities, students from about 50 schools are expected to attend.
A lot of students don't know about career opportunities in the water industry. So we will be telling them about being a hydrologist, hydrogeologist along the work so they can have better options, so they have more options.
The WRA representatives were speaking at a recent JIS think tank. For more information on the water exhibition, persons may visit the WRA website at wra.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin will be conducting the 2025 Jamaica Survey of Living Conditions JSLC starting August 2025. For over 30 years, PIOJ analysis of JSLC data has helped to shape national policy, including on education, healthcare, and social support. When the JSLC team visits your home, participate. Your voice helps guide real solutions. For more information, visit statinja.gov.jm or WhatsApp Statin at 876-569-1083.
New borrowers of the Students' Loan Bureau, SLB, now have 10 years to repay their loans. This benefit came into effect September 2025 and represents an increase from the previous 5 to 7 year loan repayment periods. Let's hear from Executive Director Nikisha Walsh about how that has been going and more.
For many Jamaicans, pursuing higher education is a dream that comes with a heavy price tag. That's where the Students' Loan Bureau, SLB, steps in, helping thousands of young Jamaicans achieve their academic goals. But once school is over, the challenge of repayment begins. Hi, I'm Suzelle Ray and welcome to Finance Matters. On this episode, we explore how the SLB is making life easier for borrowers by extending its loan repayment period and improving its service delivery. Here with us today to tell us all about it is Nikisha Walsh, Executive Director at the Students' Loan Bureau. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads to see all the episodes and highlights. Ms. Walsh, thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you for having me.
Firstly, a lot of new things are happening at SLB, one of which is that your offices have been relocated. Tell us, where can we now find you and what's driving the rebranding now happening at the SLB?
In 2021, the SLB would have celebrated its 50th anniversary. At that time, as a team, we recognized that the changes are happening and how we can evolve in an evolutionary world and an environment that is changing. One of those changes or one of those initiatives that we have been thinking about is a new facility and a new location where we can offer more to our customers by being a modern and a more customer-friendly environment, both for staff and for customers. So since here in June, we have relocated to 86 Hope Road, and we are proud to announce that this facility is more suitable for our customers, is more suitable for our staff, and it also affords customers to park on the facility that was not offered before. In addition, the SLB has launched a new logo. Now, this also is a very exciting moment because this logo now demonstrates to our customers that we are customer friendly, that we are modern, that we are more with what is happening in our society, that we are forward thinking, and that we now can exhibit or show our customers that we can also evolve as we transform. This logo, it is forming an S. We have two hands coming together, and it is demonstrating that we are a partner for our customers, and also with the S stacked as books, also demonstrating that we are still about education.
Very big news coming out of SLB, and I know that our customers will appreciate the convenience that comes with that new location.
Yes.
Another big news coming out of SLB is that the loan repayment period has been extended for new borrowers. What is the new loan repayment terms and how will it benefit students?
Okay, well, the SLB has 3 loan products. Our targeted product, that's the product where students able to afford the moratorium period where they study and pay later. We have the pay as you study loan where parents can borrow on behalf of their child and pay now. And also we have the postgrad loan. If you want to pursue postgraduate study or your PhD, we have that loan available for our customers. So the recent announcement in April, we would have extended the period for the PAYS and the postgrad loans. Now those were 7 years and now it has been extended to 10 years. The PAYS loan is at 6%, so you now have 10 years to pay your loan at a 6% interest, and the postgrad loan is at 9.5% and you have 10 years.
Just to mention or to highlight for the targeted customers, they have already have an extended period of between 15 and 20 years. So if you're pursuing a study, which is not medicine, law, engineer, you have 15 years to repay, and the other courses you have 20 years. So we have already extended to our targeted customer and offering our PAYS and postgrad customer the ability for more flexible repayment.
So what I'm hearing, Mr. Walsh, is that the interest rates under the new extended loan repayment period remains the same for borrowers?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay.
And just to add, while the interest rate remains the same, SLB already have benefits that can help you to lower your interest rate. So for instance, if you are a student pursuing STEM program, you have 6%. That is a standard interest rate. Now, if you are doing well while in school, which is a 2.5 GPA or above, you can benefit from additional 2%. And in addition to that, if their parent is employed in the public sector, they will benefit from an additional 1%, and now their loan has become 3%.
So what I'm hearing, Mr. Walsh, is that SLB has a lot of benefits
for
borrowers, and there's something for everyone from the undergraduate level to the postgraduate level. You've also upgraded your customer service portal. Can you tell us more about what is new and how it will be driving efficiency?
Well, our new portal, our STEEP portal, that is one of the highest or the biggest initiative that we have for the transformation that we are on. Now, when we launched the portal, it gave customers or students the ability to go on, apply for their loan, upload their documents. Their documents will be processed and they'll be notified when those loans are approved. And the students now will be able to download the contract documents from their portal, sign their document, and then drop it off at the SLB location. What is to come? And that's very much exciting for us. And it's been a while, but we had experienced a few challenges that set us back from this launch date. But what we're excited to announce that is coming very soon, and I mean very, very shortly, is the second phase of that portal, where students or customers will be able to log on to their portal, access their loan information, make payment on their loans, and print statements without contacting the SLB. Now that will be the ultimate transformation for our students, because I know in a digital world, persons want easy access at the convenience in their home.
We're very excited, and your customers as well as are very excited about that second phase of your system.
We are too.
And we will be looking out for that. Finally, Ms. Walsh, as we go, can you share with our viewers where we can get more information about the services offered by SLB?
You can access the SLB website at www.slbja.com or follow us on our social media pages at SLB Jamaica, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, X, or Facebook.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Finance Matters. Remember to follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica and tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
We still have a month and 3 weeks remaining in the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, and lately we have been experiencing the outer bands of a few systems. To be on the safe side, it's important to be informed or reminded of the safety measures. Let's look at what to do when a tropical storm or hurricane watch or warning is issued.
Every month of the year, there has been in our history some incidents of flooding that has taken place in some aspect of the country. And that is something that we have to take note of. Apart from monitoring and giving the forecast, we are also responsible for warnings. And so there are some warnings that we want you to take special heed to if you consider yourself to be vulnerable in any situation. When we speak about a flash flood watch, it means that there is a feature, some kind of weather system that is going to produce enough rainfall that makes it possible for you to get flooding. So it means start to watch, because the water levels are going to be increasing and there is the possibility of the flooding. Now, if we start to see that in some area flooding has started to occur, or if we believe that the flooding has been so close to an area that it is going to happen in that area in a short space of time, we will escalate that flash flood watch and refer to it as a flash flood warning. So when we talk about a flash flood warning, it means not only that the flooding is possible, but the flooding either has already started to happen or is going to happen in a very short space of time because it is very close to that area. So it is important to know what the watch means as opposed to what the warning means. Usually with the warning, we will not only issue a warning, but we will also tell you what kind of actions are important or what you should not do, like do not go through flooded waterways because it could pose a risk to your life and to your property. Also, if you live in low-lying or flood-prone areas, if it is an area that is regularly experiencing flooding, a flash flood warning for your area would mean that now is the time to move to higher ground because the flooding has already started or is going to happen very shortly. It is also important for us to know where we live, because sometimes in our messages we might not refer to the actual town, but we will tell you what part of the country the flood watch or the flood warning is relevant to. So if we talk about central parishes, we are referring to Clarendon. We're also talking about Manchester. We're also talking about St. Anne. These are central parishes. So you have to be knowledgeable of where you live so that you know whether the message actually applies to you. The messages that we issue for hurricanes and tropical storms are watches and warnings as well, like the flooding. But in this case, for a tropical storm or a hurricane, when we issue a watch, it means the conditions that are associated with the storm or the hurricane are possible within a certain time frame. If you hear tropical storm or hurricane watch, you could get the impact of that system within a day and a half, 36 hours. If we mention that it is a tropical storm or a hurricane warning, it means that you only have 1 day before that thing can affect you. So we are moving to how quickly you need to make sure that you are prepared by naming it a watch or a warning. So the watch is the first level of the alert that there is something that is likely to affect you. But when we move to a warning, it means now is the time to batten down because you most likely are going to experience that storm or hurricane. We might have a tropical wave, which is the least of them, in that it can still cause a lot of rain and it can still cause flooding and devastation, but it will not have very strong winds associated with it. But then there is the tropical depression that is a little stronger because now you have winds that are moving with it, gusty winds, and it also has a lot of rainfall. Then you have tropical storms, which is a more severe kind of tropical depression because the winds are even stronger. And then if it gets even stronger, it could become a hurricane. So it's important that you have your radio and that your radio is battery controlled, not dependent on electricity, so that you can hear the warning messages that come from the meteorological service. Also bear in mind that if you dial 116, you will be able to hear the latest message coming out of the meteorological service related to any warnings. We cannot stop paying attention. We cannot let down our guard. You have to prepare yourself and stay prepared until we are out of the threat.
Up next, a day in the life of a public health nurse and a medical imaging practitioner.
Janelle White Roberts. I'm a medical imaging practitioner at the Savlamar Public General Hospital. Radiography has always been a calling. I've been wanting to be in this profession from high school after seeing just one X-ray image.
So I'm Carol Smith-Bihari, Senior Public Health Nurse with the Westmoreland Health Department. I've been in nursing for over 30 years now and I have no regrets. Being in primary care is what I enjoy. I'm responsible for nursing administration and surveillance in the parish. We are in charge of 20 health centers with over 130 plus CHAs, 50 odd nurses, and we have to monitor our people. The operations of the health centers and to ensure that our patients are sorted daily with adequate staffing, because life happens. The day could start with a call that someone is not well, an emergency BL. So staffing usually begins before you actually get to the workplace, and that allows us time to manage and reassign staff to do coverage based on the clinics that we have that needs attention, because staffing is the priority.
Here at South, we offer emergency x-rays. We offer services to the health centers from all over Westmoreland, and this machine or this service provides a good role in providing these x-rays for these patients. We offer pediatric x-rays. We do have a ward here. Come on, we're gonna take a picture, right? They're children. So walking into the room, you see this big thing in front of you. Your first thing is like, I'm not going to go under that. So just the reassurance. Good job, all right? Our first thing when the patient comes in the room is to safely put them on the table, position them in the correct anatomical position for each body part. And then we're saying, okay, you need to keep still, because if you move, it will spoil the x-ray. Giving them the right amount of exposure at the lowest dose to produce an optimal film so the doctor is able to make a diagnosis.
I enjoy my work. I enjoy nursing. I love it. But every day you just have to be ready for the unexpected. You can plan your day, but changes do happen. Sometimes an emergency situation can happen just as you enter the building, and you have to drop everything and attend to based on what is happening. So it varies. Administrative duties are there. You respond daily to emails, WhatsApp calls, phone calls, you name it, a myriad of responsibilities, and the Zoom meetings, planned and unplanned, and the ones that you get called into. I look at communicable disease, and with that, I do surveillance at the hospital, the private hospitals, the hotels in the parish, schools, all institutions that need to be monitored on a day-to-day basis to ensure we don't have outbreaks or anything that's under the radar.
We have a saying in radiography that we're the eyes of medicine, because we're the first to see and then the doctors will diagnose. So I think it's a calling for me, and I think that's why I'm here.
So if you're really passionate about people and their care, do something in health. If this is your path, why not take the moment and get on board?
In machines and in moments, they move the mission of public health forward. Not all heroes wear stethoscopes, but in their hands, lives are seen, touched, and transformed.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine@jis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.